All right. Hello and welcome everyone to another edition of Late to the Party News. I, of course, am your host, John, the creative blue collar guy. And with me are the mostly usual cast of characters. Virtually Roman. We don't know what happened to him. He might have been abducted by either a Yeti or possibly aliens. We're not really sure. If I walked outside right now and if I walked outside right now and saw a UFO, I probably wouldn't be surprised. So we're not entirely sure what happened to Roman, but he's not going to be joining us tonight. But we do have our friendly HVAC man to the north. He will fix your air conditioner. He will take pictures of birds that are not real. He'll tell you some dad jokes. We've got Salmon Sticks. How you doing, brother?
Oh, just living the dream, everybody. It's Monday.
Living
Monday.
the dream. And of course, we also have our favorite wizard from the Midwest, Blair to Blair. Always good to have you, brother. How you doing today?
Good. How's everybody doing?
Making it through another Monday. I was just telling the boys backstage, and then to any of you that are listening, if it sounds like I'm on a construction site, I do apologize. There's massive amounts of construction going on in the apartment right next door to me that where I am currently set up, I can touch the wall that is like they're working right on the other side of that wall. So I apologize to any noise that is bleeding through here. Otherwise, super stoked to be here. It was the Monday of all Mondays. One of those things where nothing catastrophic really went wrong, but it was just a series of minor inconveniences that just made me want to just flip tables over and start throwing things and just super fun. Lots of fun. Love Mondays. But at the end of the day, I didn't break anything that was too expensive. So I think we're going to be okay.
That's the important part. It's okay to break stuff as long as you can fix it.
I don't know if I can fix it. I just don't know if it's not that costly of a mistake. Dropping really heavy tools onto other parts of the interior of the machine and denting things is it's not good. It's never good. But, the life of a machinist. Let's see. We've got Lady Marine in the chat. Hope I'm still awake in an hour, fighting it tonight. Yes, and as always, you make sure to remind us that we are late again. Not very late, just a little bit late. We arrive precisely when we mean to. Especially
we're late to the party.
There's a reason why the name of the channel, not the channel, but the segment. I've thought a lot of times about trying to rebrand or retheme the whole name of my channel, just because the creative blue collar guy is like really long and complicated, and it's just I don't know. At this point, I've been doing this for a couple of years. I don't really know what to do as far as a new name for the channel, but new segments can be made, such as Late to the Party News, After Work Beers, whatever. And Late to the Party News perfectly works because I'm always late to something. Never late to work, but late to start a live stream, late to talk about interesting news stories that pop up over the weekend. I'm not really on social media too much over the weekend, a little bit here and there, but Monday is usually sort of compiled of crash course. I'm at work on Monday. I should be working, should be focusing on my work, but let's see what topics I can come up with on a Monday. We have Jacob Ironside. Always good to see you. Thank you so much for being here. And Jay, the deep-minded, hello to you and welcome. Thanks for tuning in. Always good to see you as well. And I believe that is it for the chat so far. But yeah, so let's see. We've got a couple. We could start with the Paramore thing because it's really stupid, but I don't feel like we're going to talk about it that much. I really mostly want to. I keep saying it's kind of funny. I keep saying I'm going to stop picking on Linkin Park because I was a fan of theirs early on. I'll admit, full disclosure, and I always try to be very open and full disclosure. I was a fan of theirs for about the first few albums because those were my younger years when I was in high school, and they kind of went in a different direction. And more power to them. I wasn't like, oh, they need to just call it. They need to hang it up. They need to call it quits, whatever. But it's just like it wasn't really my thing beyond like maybe their second album. Fine, whatever. But still, the tragic loss of Chester Bennington, I still have my theories as to how I think he actually passed away, but that's not a topic for tonight. Me and my tinfoil hat for that one, but no, we're not going to talk about that. Regardless, the tragic, untimely passing of a very, very talented individual who, I mean, you could just see when you listen to their music, when you watch live videos of him, I mean, he was just giving his whole heart and soul to his performance. And I mean, like, he felt those songs, like those were his words, those were his struggles. And when they announced the new singer, I was like, you know what? I don't think she's a good fit, but whatever, I'm going to move on. But every week when I'm like, I'm going to leave it alone, I'm not going to talk about it anymore, like something else happens. I'm just like, I have to talk about this. Like, first it was like, all right, the Scientology thing. She's friends with Danny Masterson. She went to one of his trials in support. Okay, she made a statement. All right, Chester Bennington's son made a statement. I can't find a lot of information about him, but it sounds like he might kind of have some issues of his own. It's hard to find info on him, so I didn't really want to dive into that too much. It's like some people were even going so far as to say like he might possibly be autistic or be on the spectrum. That I have no idea. That I cannot confirm that. But I don't know. So I kind of left the story of like his son alone because he's his oldest son from a relationship before his first marriage. So it's like 3 times removed. I don't know. Now, and we're going to get into it later in a minute because I feel like we're all going to have a lot to say about this, but Chester Bennington's mom says that she feels betrayed by the band. Says that she has been in contact with both Mike Shinoda and DJ Johan quite a bit throughout the recent years, and they both made a promise to her that they're like, hey, you know, whatever we decide to do, we promise to keep you in the loop. We will tell you first. And like, not even like they're asking for her blessing, because already the internet and all the freaking weirdos out there are like, whatever, they don't need her blessing, they don't need to ask her permission, they don't need to whatever. And I'm like, okay, fine, like, don't get me wrong, I totally get that. Like, they didn't need to like ask her permission. But if 2 people from the band promised her, like went out of their way to say, I promise we will let you know, we will keep you in the loop. And she says that she found out about the new singer the same way the rest of the world did when we watched the live stream. I was like, you can't deny that, like, that's really disrespectful and kind of shady. Like, what was really going on behind the scenes that they were like, oh, we're not going to tell Chester's mom, you know. Like I said, we're going to get into that, but I feel like we'll maybe like curb that one for a minute and maybe talk about the whole Paramore thing first, because that's just so incredibly stupid and there's not that much to say about it, but it's really dumb.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, I mean, at a certain point, where do you draw the line and say, okay, we've got to do this, you know? So we're moving on. Sorry, but
yeah,
I know you and
like I said,
sorry,
go ahead, Devon.
I was gonna say, I know you and I have talked about the fact that, like, as far as the whole Chester Bennington's mom thing and everything going on there with Linkin Park, we're like, okay, just let it die, and you know what, they can do their own thing. We can be like, you know, we don't really like it, but we'll move on. But then every week it just seems like something else, and it's just like, okay, well, you can't really drop it that easily.
Yeah, and you know, like I said, we got a couple things in the chat. Oh wait, oh no, oh no, what did she try to eat? That's not good. Lady Marine says that her dog tried to poison herself last night. I know you've been having issues with her lately, but what happened? That's not good. We got Jack Harper Games 90 says Talinda Chester's widow approved. Why doesn't that count for anything in this LP situation? And I saw that. I keep seeing like headlines and stuff where they're like, oh, Chester's widow finally breaks her silence. All she did was that when they initially posted the announcement, Chester's widow commented on Emily Armstrong's post with like a heart and a fire emoji. So like, okay, fine, you know, playing a little bit of devil's advocate here. Here we go. One could say that while they've been jamming with Emily Armstrong as far back as 2019, Mike Shinoda's words, it took this long to announce it because maybe they had to pay her off. I don't know. Devil's advocate, just putting that out there. But yeah, I think if there's anyone who had like a final say, it would more than likely be Chester's widow because they were married at the time it was passing. But his mom saying that Mike and Joe both made a promise to her, I think that promise should have been honored. And even if, like, let's just say it this way, like, they totally could have come to her and said, this is what we're doing. And his mom still could have said, I don't agree with it, I don't like it. But they could have been like, well, we honored our promise to keep you in the loop and to tell you, which is all they promised to do. His mom obviously more than likely did not have any stake in terms of ownership or royalties or anything. But if a promise was made to say, at the very least, we will keep you in the loop and we will tell you before we tell anyone else, I think that speaks volumes that they did not honor that promise. So yes, they are going to move forward. Whether we like it or not, they're going to move forward. I personally don't think she's a good fit. I don't like her voice. I don't, whatever. Like, and in interest of being very, very objective, which I do honestly try to be, I went and I watched other live videos of her other band, Dead Sarah, because I was like, well, let's see. Like, she's been in this other band. Let's see, you know, what's she all about. I would very much compare her to more of like a Courtney Love kind of grunge post-punk, and fine, like, not my cup of tea. I can't stand Courtney Love or her band, but lots of people apparently like it. Whatever, fine. But Emily Armstrong, in my opinion, is more along those lines, and that's totally fine. But I still do not think she's a good fit for Linkin Park. And I don't think it's disrespectful to just say that, oh, she's not a good fit. She's not. I'm not saying she's not a good vocalist. It's just, it's a different style. It's a different thing. When she does the old songs, like I said earlier, it's like with Chester, it's like you felt like that, just like that came from his soul. Like he felt that, and she's. It
was the authenticity that made it best. Amazing.
Yeah, his energy, his intensity, and she's just screechy. We're gonna get to that. I really, before we get too sidetracked, let's see. Okay, we got an update here. She learned how to lift the lid to the toilet, and there's a cleaner disc. Oh no! Oh, that's not good. No, your dog does not need to be eating the cleaner discs. That's not good.
Minty.
Having last night, she's still feeling bad, but I got a little pumpkin and
that's
rice.
not from experience.
Man,
don't eat the big mint.
Don't eat the big mint. Okay, so see if I can, because this video has just been like playing on loop here over to my left. Okay, there, I was able to pause it. Full screen. All right, so you guys have seen the Paramore rant, right? I know Devon.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
And I know, I'm sure, like, none of us here really give two flying shits about Paramore, but they are another one of those bands that they were, you know, big in the early 2000s with kind of the big pop punk movement, maybe like pop punk emo, whatever, something. And it's interesting to me too that when this band first hit the scene and became really, really popular, everyone was saying it's like, oh, like Hayley Williams and the band members, like they're all like Christian and then this and that and the other stuff. But like as the years have gone on, she's just turned into like the most cliche textbook, like angry feminist liberal, so there's this video that I'm about to play, and then Devon sent me something else where it's like a different camera view where somebody's standing there holding a piece of paper and she's reading it. And it's like, well, was anyone surprised that this was scripted? Like, none of these people have an original thought in their brain. And I know for the most part with this channel, it's like I kind of like dip my toe in the political pool a little bit, but at the end of the day, like, I am never going to tell anyone who to vote for. Like, I'm just some idiot with a webcam and a couple of ring lights. Like, I am not here to say you need to vote for this person, you need to vote for this person. But when somebody does or says something stupid, we're going to talk about it, because it's like, this is how freaking brainwashed people are. Like, it's not my business to ever sway or influence or tell anyone you need to vote for this, you need to vote for that, whatever. But it's like, this is
use
just
your brain at least.
This is just dumb. So let's, nope, not that one. Oh yeah, it's on X. All right, got it. Share audio tab. Boop. There we go. All right, so this was Paramore at the iHeart Music Festival over the weekend. Get your tinfoil, get your whiskey. This is dumb.
Project 2025 is Donald Trump's playbook for controlling and punishing women, poor people, people of color.
Okay, first and foremost, I already got to stop right there.
Fact check.
Trump has said multiple times over he has absolutely nothing to do with Project 2025.
Who stops their show in the middle of the show and starts going off on a political rant other than a crazy person?
Someone that's
Somebody got
crazy
paid.
being paid,
Yes,
or
yes.
both.
Yes.
Exactly. But right there, everyone that keeps saying, "Oh, Donald Trump and Project 2025," it's like he did not write Project 2025. He doesn't even endorse Project 2025. He has nothing to do with it. And if you actually go to the website and read the bullet points, it is none of the things that she is saying. Like, it's already stupid. Hey, we've got Melvin Deeply, vote for Zod. Hey, welcome. Good to see you. Thanks for popping in here. And we've got Pink Pam 86. Thank you so much for joining. Good to see you as well. I completely agree. It's almost impossible to replace Chester. Emily's voice cannot compare to his, in my opinion. Thank you so much. Again, like we're trying to be very objective. I'm trying to be very objective. I do have my theories that I think people are supporting her and celebrating her for other stupid reasons that I've been attacked for on my opinions on both Twitter and on my YouTube channel. And they're just like, "Oh, you're being disrespectful." And I'm like, okay, but I'm probably not wrong. Anyways, Vermin Serena.
Have you seen that guy?
I have. He's like wearing the boot.
The boot.
Oh boy. So yeah, this whole thing with like the Project 2025 and whatever, it's like Trump didn't write it. He doesn't support it. And all this stuff that she's saying is not even true. Basically, the short answer, and again, like just barely dipping my toe in the political pool, not trying to sway anyone. It's my understanding is it's more of like putting the power back in the individual states, which I agree with. I think the federal government has gotten way too big. And I think people should pay more attention to state and local governments. And I feel like that's what this is trying to do. Anyways, let's continue. Okay.
And the LGBTQ plus community. It is time for all Americans to band together and to finally defeat the Trump agenda. And the only way to do that is by confronting him at the polls. Live in a dictatorship. Well, show up and vote. Yeah.
Maybe you should just shut up and sing.
So
Yeah, no, right?
Yeah. So show up and vote for the party that didn't actually elect their representative in, because that's how you save democracy.
Then I'll shave it. Who's that guy from who's I think as a Waters? Isn't he the one?
Roger Waters, yeah.
He spends more time talking than saying nowadays.
Yep.
She's a little young to be going that route, but she's already well ahead in the curve there.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah, I thought it was.
That one's actually really funny because I am a huge Pink Floyd fan. And I actually am going to see. I'm a huge Pink Floyd fan, and I'm going to see guitarist and like co-lead singer David Gilmour in about a month from now, live in concert. He's like a major bucket list item. I'm finally going to go see a member of Pink Floyd live and in concert. And David Gilmour has always been about the music and the show. I read interviews with him and stuff, and he definitely has his opinions and he has his things and stuff. But it's like at his shows, because I've watched videos. There was one he did last time he toured was like 2016, and he recorded it, like did a film of it and released it. Like you could go see it in theaters, and then it came out on Blu-ray and everything. And maybe it was edited. I don't know. Like. But it seemed to me like he doesn't even really talk in between songs. It was just very much like get up and play, maybe a couple moments of thank you so much for being here, blah, 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 whatever. So, but he just wants to play. He just wants to
like a show should be.
Exactly. Thanks for coming. here's our songs.
You paid
You
me
know?
to play music. I'm going to play music.
You know,
Here, you
and,
paid me to play music. I'm going to take my political opinion and jam it down your throat. It's like I
Like,
can still enjoy
Bruce
someone's music
Bruce
even though I don't agree with
Springsteen
them.
or the Dropkick Murphys or whatever. But Roger Waters, yeah, is the exact opposite. I have some friends who saw him when he did a tour of The Wall. And that one, like, it was a production. It was a show. He was doing the Wall double album, start to finish. They were like literally building a physical wall on the stage as the show was going on. Like it was a production, and he did the show, and that it was what it was. But when he just does a regular tour where it's like, oh, here's some new songs from my solo album, and here's some this and that and the other, whatever. It's just like he spends more time talking politics than anything. Looks like Jacob Ironside is taking off though. Hey brother, thanks for popping in though. Enjoy the cannoli show, and yeah, we'll talk soon about getting some collabs here going. But again, thanks for popping in. Always good to see you.
Holy
And
cannoli. He's gone.
We've got the Wayfarer Project. David Gilmour is quieter than Roger. Like Melvin deeply. Yeah, he's quieter, and he, like I said, he definitely has his political opinions, but he doesn't take time out of his live shows to spout them off. So I hope that when I go see him next month that he will not do that. But yeah, you pay your money to go to a show.
Plus, you can see, we've all seen the video where she's actually just reading the script.
Right. Oh, 100%.
It's not like it's even heartfelt. It's like, she suddenly stopped to speak her mind. No, she was like reading.
Yeah.
Whatever. It was totally pathetic.
Where, I don't know, Devon sent that either on. No, you sent it on Twitter. Yeah,
it's on Twitter.
You got it. But yeah, even like the David Gilmour, Roger Waters thing, it's the same thing of like, one wants to just spout off about politics, the other just wants to play music. And it did open up an Instagram. Anyways, let's see if I can zoom in a little bit. Play. Why is my earbud already dying? You've only been on for 20 minutes.
The fact that it's so it's not the fact of like, oh, it's scripted. It's the fact that like not only is it scripted, but you're too stupid to actually learn the script, so some guy had to hold it there for you.
Yeah, right.
And that's rock.
Like unless I was, I don't know,
lazy.
It might not have actually been scripted. Like it could be someone holding something up, but it doesn't look like that. It looks like they're notes for her.
People of color, the LGBTQ plus community. It is time for all Americans to band together to finally defeat the Trump.
Can you imagine you're like that
Anyways, we already heard the speech. We don't need to hear it again. But yeah, right there, the guy's holding a piece of paper and you could see. And I'm just like, I'm not surprised. Like I don't think she was sitting there like just ad-libbing the whole thing the whole time.
Can you imagine being the one person?
They don't have an original thought in their brain. Somebody else had to write that.
Who isn't on board with this, but they know if they say anything, they'll be destroyed. Like that one guy from Bon Iver.
Right.
He had to quit the band because God forbid he had a different opinion than the woke mob. So he had to quit the band. Yeah.
It reminds me of that. It reminds me of the part of Clone Wars where the droids are like, oh, those are the other models. We're independent thinkers. Roger, 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 Roger.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's one of my favorite gifts.
Yeah. But so since we were already kind of talking about it, we need to go ahead and dive right on in. But yeah, it's so like I already said, the Linkin Park thing has been continuing to baffle me a little bit in that I watched the original live stream. I think you guys were both in the chat. Yep. It was kind of just it was a random last minute. It was a Thursday, so it's not even a normal day that I do a live stream. But I was at work and I was like, you know what the hell? I don't want to just like rush home, throw on the live stream. Let's just see what happens. But I know you guys were in the chat. Lady Marine was in the chat. We had a handful of others that were first-time
cool
newcomers. Everybody in my chat during my live stream all agreed, like automatically and immediately before we knew anything about Emily Armstrong. They're just like, this is not good. This is not a good fit for the band. This is not a good replacement. And I get it. You know, somebody like Chester Bennington is a really hard person to replace, but she was not a good choice by any means.
It was so bad.
When she tries to do the screams, it's very screechy. And then just not to mention whatever her possible ties are that are alleged or unconfirmed ties to Scientology, her friendship to Danny Masterson. I got into it back and forth with someone in the comments on one of my previous live streams on YouTube. And I just went for it. I fully just like ripped the Band-Aid off and said, I was like, I can guarantee you if a man had stepped into this position and gave A, the same subpar performance, and B, had even rumors or hints or ties to a friendship with Danny Masterson, that guy would have been canceled like that. Gone.
Yep.
But because it's a woman, unpopular opinion here, but I try to be objective, I was like, she didn't give a good performance. We've had multiple people in the chat already agree with that. You guys all agree with that. Just performance based, not a good fit. Not a good fit for the band. Okay.
You don't even have to agree. Like, it's fine for you to not agree. Maybe you did like it.
And it's fine. It's fine to not agree. But then it's like, oh, well, she is a member of the Church of Scientology, which people are like, oh, she was born into it. She can't help it. Whatever. It's like, well, in her statement, she did not denounce Scientology. Her statement did not say, oh, I'm no longer a member of the Church of Scientology. It's just my parents, whatever. So it's like, why didn't you denounce that? Why didn't you say, oh, I'm not a part of this organization that doesn't believe in mental health, doesn't believe in therapy, doesn't believe in helping yourself if you have mental issues, like Chester was a big advocate for. And then her friendship with Danny Masterson. Her statement said, oh, I went to one hearing early on and I regretted it. I read that she went to a hearing in 2023. Danny Masterson was convicted and sentenced in 2023. That's not early on. That's after details have come out. Like, you know,
well, it was early after he was convicted, you know.
But I'm just like, it like stack all the dominoes. If they had hired a male vocalist to come in and replace Chester, and all of these same things were happening, he would have been gone. He would have been canceled. He would have been out of here. Look what happened to Johnny Depp. The second Johnny Depp was even so much as accused by his ex-wife, he was canceled. He was fired from Disney. He was fired from Pirates of the Caribbean. He had to take her to trial and still win the trial. And people still are like, well, I don't know. I still think he's kind of a bad person. And it's like, he still didn't win. He still didn't get his reputation back. But I said all these things. And they're like, oh, whatever, you're just being disrespectful. Like, oh, it's just because she's a woman. So I'm like, tell me I'm wrong. Where's the lie? Like, you guys are all celebrating her and loving her because it's like, oh, it's a female vocalist. And I'm going to try to kind of skim through this article a little bit when I start scrolling because there's a lot to unpack. But there's stuff in here that I remember hearing rumors of before, of like Chester Bennington and Mike Shinoda actually not really getting on that well, of like Mike Shinoda kind of bullying him a little bit. And there's stuff in here claiming that they actually threatened to fire Chester and replace him with a female when he was still alive. So it's like, if any of this stuff is true, it's like, this is some wild accusations to be like, but it's coming from his mom. And I put it out there on Twitter a couple days ago, and I had people coming on there being like, oh, whatever, get out of here, F off and stuff. And I'm like, are you freaking kidding me that the dude's grieving mother can't even disagree with this without you guys being like, you're just being lame? Like,
it's
people really baffle me. It really blows me away.
Yeah.
Replacing the lead singer is the worst thing because so much of your band's identity is wrapped up in the lead singer, no matter what.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then
love it or hate it, disagree with it or not. Like,
that's
you're
a
not
hard
wrong.
role to replace for sure.
And then, so say the person passes away or they retire or whatever. You know, there are many people in the band who still want to play music, but then they're like being punished because It's yeah. But then
Yeah.
you look at like Fleetwood Mac, how many people they had in that band.
Oh my god, I hate Fleetwood Mac so much.
I love them.
I don't mind them. There's a couple of songs.
And yeah, and it's crazy too that like people are trying to make the comparison of when Chester Bennington joined Stone Temple Pilots. Like, oh, what about that? It's like Scott Weiland was still alive during that time. They kicked his ass out because he couldn't stay off heroin.
Yeah.
Chester Bennington joining Stone Temple Pilots had nothing to do with the death of a member. Like Scott Weiland had been in the band, out of the band, in the band, out of the band. Like he'd been given multiple chances. And finally, the DeLeo brothers were like, "Screw you, dude! Like you can't stay clean. We want to be able to at least like maybe not necessarily release a new album, but like we want to tour without you being like like I'm too strung out on heroin. I can't tour." Like it's like he was still alive when Chester was in Stone Temple Pilots. Like that is such a like again like if people would just do like 3 seconds of research, just a quick Google search. It's not hard.
Reading is hard,
you know. Reading is hard. So
you're implying that the idiots online that are saying these things can read, and that's you shouldn't assume such.
Well, you know what? I mean, I struggle too, but you know.
But you know what the worst part of all is? I never learned to read.
Yeah. So, getting to the point, Chester Bennington's mom says, quote, "I feel betrayed by Linkin Park." Susan Eubanks learned that the band had moved forward with a new singer at the same time as everyone else in the world. She tells Rolling Stone they promised to give her a heads up. Promised to give her a heads up. Hey, Stephen Ransom. What's up, brother? Good to see you. He's one of our earliest previous panel members, early supporters of the channel. Thanks for popping in, buddy. Good to see you. Hope that you're doing well. Because you mean because Emily's too young to enjoy good music, or Hayley Williams from Paramore? Either way, I agree with both statements.
Yes.
We're just gonna go with the answer is yes. It's just both. So let's. Oh, don't tell me I have to freaking log in. Is there a way to just like skip? Oh, I hate you, Rolling Stone.
I was on there.
I've read this on Rolling Stone. I hate Rolling Stone.
I currently have it up.
Okay, so try to share your screen, and then I'll pull it up, and then you can scroll through. I've read. Hey, I just said how much I love Pink Floyd. Not fair. I can't help it that I wasn't born earlier. Okay, so Devon's got it. I cannot read any of that.
Okay, 1 sec.
So you're gonna be in charge then. Stephen Ransom says, Devon, you need more beard and not.
This
more
is true. I can't help it. I'm still a young whippersnapper. I'm doing my best. I'm doing my best.
He's quite
the whiskey isn't helping enough.
But
his real beard will come in later.
He's quite the youngster, but we still allow him on because he's got some good dad jokes. So it's fun.
Blair's hair just migrated. That's not fair.
Yeah, cheated. I'm like one of those etch a sketch things, the pen, but it's all all the stuff that you put the magnet up.
Oh yeah.
Like
I remember those. Yeah. All right, so Devon, I think I'm gonna have to yield to you to kind of reading through this because even on my the way it's on my screen, it's very small, even with it zoomed in. So take the lead.
Okay, well, ladies and gentlemen, earlier this month, Linkin Park announced that it had officially reunited 7 years after the death of singer Chester Bennington. Give me 1 sec, I have to fix something. I can't read stuff while I'm listening to myself talk. Driving me nuts. Anyways, so. Let's see. New vocalist Dead Sarah's Emily Armstrong would be singing Bennington's parts in the concerts, which it was. Singing is a strong word there. She tried. She was scream. Okay, we were actually talking about the fact of the difference between them is he he sings them, and she screams them.
And well, and even Chester, like when he would do like the more kind of screaming vocals, because there's other bands that I enjoy that can pull this off as well. Some being, Slipknot, Mudvayne, whatever. It's like these vocalists can scream, but like hit different pitch and notes and things. Like her, like she just like it's like she's in her car and like angry at her dad and is just like screeching. Like it doesn't. It's not musical.
No. Like even in the studio version of the song they did, The Emptiness Machine, her voice still cracks in the studio version. So that one kind of...
That's with studio magic, man. That's with auto-tune and like...
Yeah, that was the best they could do.
I can't wait to hear the rest of the album.
Oh, man. I'm actually looking forward to it coming out, just so not like hate listen, because maybe there's going to be some good songs on there, but like at the same time, it just probably
going to listen out of curiosity at the very least.
Pretty much, yeah.
Why not?
Anyways, one person who immediately had strong feelings about the announcement was Bennington's mother, Susan Ebanks, whatever. In her phone interview with Rolling Stone, she said that the band had promised to notify her if they had any inkling of moving forward. He had run into the group's other vocalist, rapper Mike Shinoda, in recent years, as well as its turntablist Joe Hahn, but says neither mentioned anything about the reunion. When she learned about the announcement, she felt sudden shock. The worst part of all, like we said, and like I think you and I were talking about this, John, the worst part wasn't the fact of like, okay, it's not her band, they're allowed to move forward. But when you promise your friend's mother after you died, like that's, and you didn't go through with it, like that's just disrespectful.
And I said the same thing, it's like I get it. Like all of the comments and all the people that are like, oh, Linkin Park was Chester Bennington, like let's hold off on that a little bit. Like I get it. Linkin Park was a collective effort between all members involved. Obviously Chester was a big part of it. He, like I said, he had the energy, he had the intensity, his performances, everything was great. But when somebody does die, especially untimely, like, okay, so I've said this multiple times over, and I'm going to sound like a broken record. You're constantly repeating myself, but Alice in Chains, right? Like when Alice in Chains, Lane Staley died of his drug addictions in, I believe, 2001. The band had already kind of been on an indefinite hiatus for a while anyways, and then when Lane Staley died, it was really like, okay, that's the end of it. And they kind of tried a couple different things to bring it back, and then finally they brought in Willem Duvall, who they've recorded new albums with. And I don't necessarily care for their new albums, and it's not to say that it's because he doesn't do a good job. I mean, Jerry Cantrell is still more or less like the primary songwriter, so I mean, he's writing the songs, and maybe he just, as he got older, his style changed and everything. Like, I don't necessarily like their new album, but I have seen Alice in Chains live twice with Willem, and he does a great job when he sings the old songs. Like when he does Man in the Box, if you close your eyes and just listen, like it almost sounds like Lane Staley is there. Like he brings it, he brings the performance, he does a great job. He's not trying to imitate or emulate Lane Staley, but he does justice to the old songs.
Oh no,
and that was perfect. With this, she does not do any of those things. She doesn't do justice to the old songs. It doesn't sound like Chester. And again, like I said, like she doesn't necessarily need to try to sound like Chester, but it's not even like a suitable replacement. Like it's like what a lot of the comments I've been seeing online is people are just like, it's like a bad cover band. It's like a really bad, like, or like a bad like karaoke night. It's like Mike Shinoda and karaoke. Oh, you lost the article.
Yeah, it's gone.
Shit.
I'm so sorry. I was trying to block ads.
I had it pulled up on my phone before, and I was able to read the whole thing. But as soon as I pulled it up on my computer, it's like you must log in to read the rest. Like,
hold up.
I guess I could just read it from my phone, but that's
no,
it's not as fun.
Go away. I think I got it. Okay, I got it again.
You got it again. Okay.
Here's a tip. Use a use incognito mode and it doesn't know.
Oh. Yeah, mine's still asking me to lock.
Okay.
There we go.
Perfect. All right. Let's see. Where were we? Thrilled. Okay. We are thrilled to be back out here, Mike Chino said at a recent concert. It's not about erasing the past. It's about starting this new chapter into the future and coming out here for each and every one of you. Eubanks disagrees. Here in her own words is how she had been feeling since the band had moved forward. A representative for Linkin Park did not respond to a request for comment for this story.
Of course they did.
It's kind of suspect, I guess.
But again, it's like the fact that they're not even addressing it. Like I said, I kind of held off on talking about the stories of his oldest son speaking out against this because it was like from a girlfriend before his first marriage, and there's some other weird stories there. But I was like, as soon as Chester Bennington's mom speaks out, I'm like,
yeah,
I feel like the band needs to address that. Maybe it's just me. I don't know. Like a grieving mother, like she deserves to have answers. You know,
like that's the correct PR thing to do, is just not address it in reality. But
Yes.
like,
I mean, yeah,
if you're trying to make yourself not look guilty, the best way is to just address it,
right,
and be like, hey, or I don't even know. Like, obviously his mom is not happy with how this went down, and you're not even going to address how your friend's mom feels about this.
Well, and she said in the article somewhere that apparently I can't read now, but you've got it. Like I think it's like way down because it's pretty long. There's a lot of stuff in the article, but there's a part where like even she says, she's like, no, it's like Emily Armstrong is just up there like screeching or whatever, like saying that like just based on performance alone, her vocal performance is not good, but as much as I keep getting attacked on Twitter and on YouTube and everything else, people are like, just let it go. Just let people move forward, just whatever. And I'm like, okay, like I'm all for it. Like if I don't like their new music, I don't have to listen to it. I get it. Like I'm not expecting Linkin Park to suddenly like change their course of action based on something that some idiot on YouTube is saying. But what I am saying as an individual is that at the end of the day, what we keep coming back around to, what you and I, Devon, keep saying, what I'm sure like Blair, you probably agree with. It's like if a promise was made, the promise should have been upheld. Like they totally could have gone to Chester's mom and said, this is what we're doing. And then she could say, well, I don't like that. And then they can say, well, I'm sorry, but we're going to move forward. We let you know, you're in the loop. Fine. Like, they don't need her blessing to move forward. Don't get me wrong.
No.
Like they don't.
It is.
They don't
At
need her
the end of the day,
blessing.
it is their band.
They don't need her blessing. They don't need her signature. They don't need her whatever. But it's just like the thing that I keep coming down to, because any of those of you watching, I don't know if you've been through this or not, but it's like I've lost a few friends to suicide over the years, and it's just like if you've ever had to stand in somebody's kitchen and see the look on a mother's face knowing that their son just decided that life is not worth living anymore, I don't wish that on anyone. That is a absolutely horrible thing to ever witness, to ever see, to experience, to be around. And with this band to say, okay, this is what happened, this is what we're doing, we promise to keep you in the loop and let you know. Again, they're not asking for like, oh, we'll let you know, and then if you don't like it, we're not going to do it. They didn't say that. They didn't say, oh, if you don't approve of it, we're not going to do it. They just said, we promise to let you know. That's all it was. A very simple promise to be kept in the loop, to be told if and when we move forward, you will know, you will be the first person to know. And they broke that promise. And I'm like, that is, to me, speaks volumes to the character of, more than anything, Mike Shinoda. Honestly, I think he's probably the one kind of running things at this point. Like it's probably basically just like the Mike Shinoda show and members. But to not honor just a simple promise of just, we will let you know. Like that's, I can't get past that one.
Yep.
Yeah, they shouldn't have never said anything in the beginning, but I don't know.
Let's see.
Yeah, what else we got?
they said they would let the family know. So apparently, and it says they did not. Bennington's first wife, Samantha, and son Draven didn't know until it was told to the world. So that was also for them. Now, granted, I don't know if that was promised to them or not, but like they still didn't say anything. You think you would say something?
Yeah. So Steven is saying that this is why contracts are the real source of all silliness and entertainment. Most movies will clear a project before moving forward. Yeah, the entertainment industry is it's a little bit of a sick game because they at the end of the day they don't actually care about the people or the individuals. They just care about getting paid. And I feel if I had to guess, again, I'm just an idiot with a webcam. No, I don't know anything, but I'm just guessing that they probably had to pay off Chester's widow because she was probably the last one like holding on to any kind of rights since they were married when he passed. But beyond paying off his widow, they were probably like, we don't have to clear this with anyone. So it's all about contracts. It comes down to contracts and money. Money. So,
which they don't have to clear with them, but it's just like a sign of respect. Like,
well, with his widow, like if she had, like, say, like next of kin or whatever type of thing, if
that's
she
one
had
thing,
like whatever rights he had in the band, probably immediately transferred to her.
Well, it's like Nirvana. Courtney has one of the reasons why a lot of stuff for Nirvana can't come out remastered stuff is that she holds rights. And she won't sign out.
And she actually had they did some box set stuff where she actually came out and sued Dave and Chris in recent years for that. Which I again, like, I get it that it's like Kurt was 1/3 of the band and he's no longer here. His rights immediately passed to his widow because they were married at the time. But at the same time, it's like, well, Dave and Chris were also members of the band and collaborators in writing and producing the music and whatever. So it's like for them to not be able to, they never tried to reform the band. Obviously, like that was for them personally, and everyone's got a different path and no path is wrong. For them, their path was Kurt is gone. We're not going to reform. We're not going to get a new singer or whatever. But to not be able to go and, we're going to release old demos or we're going to remaster old albums and like she's stopping them from doing that. It's like, well, hey, it's like, again, that was their band too. And they're not even trying to get a new singer and try to be like, we're going to do tours and new music. It's like, we just want to put the music out there into the world that Kurt was still a part of. And she's like, nope, stop that shit. That was their band too.
Until she dies and her kid gets it, then maybe she'll relent.
But it's funny. It's like her kid like wants nothing to do with her.
Yeah, I know.
So like I think she's actually gotten like restraining orders against Courtney Love before. So it's like when your own child doesn't want anything to do with you, that's just, you're the wackadoodle, and you need to like surrender your rights or whatever. Like it's crazy.
This world is crazy, John. Come on. You should know that by now.
Well, so what else is going on in music news? Don't we have a little our favorite brothers from Liverpool?
Roman sent me let's see, pull this up. Roman sent me this tweet, and I'm honestly I'll like, again, full disclosure, I'm a little bit confused at the context of this tweet that Roman sent me, but the Oasis reunion is not without drama. Liam Gallagher. So I and forgive me right away. I always forget which one's which. I feel like Liam was just the singer, right? Noel was the guitarist. Okay. So Liam is the one that has had all his drug and alcohol problems and is essentially the reason for the band not reuniting for all these years, because the infighting and the just, they couldn't even do shows because he wasn't sober. So I guess the world tour has already started. I don't know. Again, like Roman sent me this without any context, and I'm a little bit confused, but it's also kind of interesting. Liam Gallagher, to all of those, language warning, everybody earmuff it if your kids are around, to all of those shit cunts, perfect timing,
You're welcome.
who were crying about my quote angelic tones last night. You ain't real fans. You're just imposters. And if you do have tickets you want to get rid of, I'll gladly take them off your hands. We don't want the likes of you at our concerts next year anyway. L effing whatever. Yeah, it's wild.
Possibly slightly intoxicated or just very angry while typing this.
Well, because right there, most of it is coherent until it gets to the likes of you at our concerts next year, and it just says NXT. And don't get me wrong, typos happen. I do it too. But when you got that little blue check mark, you have an hour to like reread your tweet and make edits to it. So he could have fixed his spelling error on next, and then the L effing whatever part at the end there. I don't know. It happens to the best of us. We all have typos, but when you're able to go back and edit it, and also too, like he probably has people that works for him that could have fixed this. Obviously, I think Liam Gallagher very much posted this himself, but I think he has people working for him that could have looked at it and been like, "Yo, we need to fix this. Like, go back and edit. Let me edit it. You know, whatever." The joke has been long-standing, pretty much since the announcement of the Oasis tour. Is I wonder if maybe it was like Babylon Bee or something. It was. I'm not even gonna try to search for it. It would take too long. But the stuff of like these memes of, oh, here's how to get refunds to the Oasis show when the tour gets canceled, because who actually thinks they're going to make it through their whole tour? They have spent the last, what did they say, 15 years, maybe longer, more than 15 years, of the brothers not even speaking. Like, forget the band, the brothers not speaking to each other. That's some major family infighting. And
Jay has a good point there.
Jay, let's see, what do we got here? On the plus side, those crazy Oasis boys are just warming up those months of content.
This is how you're going to make your channel, John. You're going to explode. You're going to be all over this Oasis stuff.
Yeah, and exactly that. Like, I feel like this is basically what the world is just waiting for, because I don't think any of us believes they're going to actually make it through a tour. One of the articles that I pulled up and read when I first talked about them reuniting and getting back together, there was a story of Noel Gallagher, you know, brother, guitarist, songwriter, singer, but, you know, Liam was like the lead singer guy. There were stories of like Liam like grabbing guitars and like swinging them at Noel, like wielding like an axe, like basically like trying to kill the guy with his own guitars. Just crazy stuff. And it's like, maybe it was drugs, maybe it's just the fact that they're brothers and they just really hate each other, and just maybe it's a combination of the things. I don't know, whatever. But when they announced that they were finally reuniting and touring, that was like the first thought was like, how far into the tour are they going to actually make it, and how much drama is going to happen? I mean, I'll eat my words where it's appropriate. I said the same thing. This is way before I had a YouTube channel, but back when Guns N' Roses reunited, where, you know, Axl Rose and Slash, like another one of the most infamous like infights of rock and roll history, where both Axl Rose and Slash had famously said multiple times, like, one of us will be dead before we ever collaborate again. And then lo and behold, they've managed to get back together and do multiple tours. Now Slash is saying there's actually a possibility of new music. I think they just needed new music. I think they needed money. Everybody has a price, and you throw enough zeros on the end of that check, everybody has a price. So, both Slash and Axl saying, oh, no, we're never going to reunite. We're never going to tour again. One of us is going to be dead. And they're like, oh, let's add a couple more zeros onto that. And then they're like, all right, son of a bitch, you got me. All right, okay, all right.
I get paid a lot less to deal with probably, even worse at work. So, I mean, they should be able to get along with each other just for, a couple million at least.
You would think so, and I think Axl Rose and Slash have managed to figure it out. But with the Gallagher boys with Oasis, like I think having that extra added like family dynamic of them actually being brothers on top of it probably makes it that much more difficult. Where
There's
probably
too much
just want to
estrogen.
kill each other.
That's the problem. That's why they keep fighting so much.
They just want to kill each other, and you know. They were a good enough band for their time in the 90s, and I think that them reuniting it sparked a lot of excitement, but at the same time it's like their music was fairly generic, so the fact that people were like so excited about them reuniting, I'm like, don't get me wrong, like they had their relevance, they had their hits, but it's like they weren't the freaking Beatles. They thought
I only know 2 of their songs, so that there you go.
So let's see, what do we got? There's Wonderwall, Champagne Supernova.
That's as far as I've got.
Around the World, Stop Crying Your Heart Out. That's all right. Okay, they got at least maybe 4 hits. Like, but you know,
I've got 50% of that I could actually think of.
Words of Paradise perks up John eating me. Not entirely sure what that means, but yeah. My opinion, Noel is the talent. In my opinion, Noel is the talent, but Liam is the big character. Yeah, so like I said, like Noel's more or less like the songwriter. Like if you look at the albums, he's probably like credited as the songwriter and probably the sober one, or more sober one. I don't know if completely sober. Liam is also the one who can't take criticism. He is kicking off at comments that his vocals have suffered due to his addiction issues, which are probably accurate. You know, like
yeah.
If you can't be a public figure, whether YouTube, my very small piddly ass little YouTube channel, or a band or a journalist or a whatever, like if you can't take criticism, you shouldn't be putting your face out there to the public, because you're always going to find critics, you're always going to find trolls, you're always going to find people who just don't like what you have to say. But
you've handled fame well though, John, so
yes, my 400 subscribers, woo, so famous. Joke lost in translation. Okay, maybe some typos, some errors. I don't know. We never have typos on this show ever. Apparently, Devon needs more beer.
I don't have any beer, so I just have whiskey.
I've got about this much left, but we have approached our hour mark. So
they're getting dry, folks. They gotta.
It is the Jameson IPA whiskey though, so that's kind of beer.
Ooh, okay. I didn't know you got that up in there in Canada.
Oh,
the beer whiskey.
You know. Jameson whiskey.
No Canadian Mist. Crown Royal. No Crown.
No Crown.
No.
Wow. I can't even think of what the other one is called.
Yukon Jack.
It's not good. I just picked off some people.
Which I
don't
think
like cheap whiskey.
I feel like Crown is another one of those ones where they like add like artificial caramel color to like make it more of like a brown like whiskey colored, and it's not really. So I learned a couple years ago that the reason why a lot of like whiskeys and things of that sort are brown in color is when you distill it, everything you distill comes out clear, like, you know, vodka, gin, moonshine, whatever. When you put it in a barrel, the barrel aging process is what makes it brown. But I've read stuff that says Crown Royal is only the color that it is because they add artificial caramel color to it. So you Canadian people are lying to us, and you're duping us, being like, oh, Canadian whiskey, hey, here, have some Crown Royal, it's Canadian whiskey, let me just put a little bit of caramel color in there, don't you know?
Oh, sorry, I didn't even realize that was Canadian whiskey, honestly. I was thinking Canadian Club, actually. That's what I was thinking. My bad.
It's just it's just some Canadian whiskey there, bud.
Glen Evans, pretty good, I believe.
Sorry about that.
That's the maple coloring they put in it. That's what it is.
We use real maple syrup to color. You say it's caramel coloring, it's actual maple syrup.
Yes. product of Canada.
No, I've seen pictures and videos that Devon definitely does make his own, harvests his own maple syrup once in a while.
Not all the way over here in Alberta, but when I was in Ontario, yeah. There's no maple trees in Alberta. Well, there probably is somewhere, but like where I am, there's like desert.
Yes,
and softwood. And then mountains, but still, that's all just softwood, no actual maple trees, unfortunately.
Oh, softwood. I hate it when that happens. Also, I think the bros know that the possibility of a punch up on stage will sell tickets. So we just talked about this last week with Jane's Addiction and that happening with Jane's Addiction. That, it was their first their first reunion in like 15 years with the original lineup, and they couldn't get through more than 6 months of shows without Perry Farrell taking a swing at Dave Navarro. Words of Paradise is a YouTuber who dances on the gay line. See Zach's stream. Oh, is this a call out on Zach?
Another Canadian. Oh, my Canadian brother.
Sal Nova Scotia has a good one called Glenavon that's really good. All right, so you got a recommendation there from Lady Marine.
I think I've had that one, but I might be mixing that up.
Oasis Slap hydrates ticket sales. And my good buddy Kyle from my childhood years. Oh, gee,
take off, you hoser.
Oh, you hoser. Yeah.
Oh, don't you know?
Thanks for popping in
sorry.
here, Kyle. It's good to see you, brother. Maple trees are the real victims here. Stop colonizing their forests. Stop colonizing their forests, Devon.
No. I can't. It's too delicious. I won't give it up. You can't make me. I'm going to tap all those trees.
Well, sorry there, bud. Oh, boy. Well, as I said, we've kind of hit that hour mark, so we're going to sort of start to calm things down here a little bit. So what do we got going on the rest of the week? And Devon, I don't feel like you really jump on with any other live streams throughout the week yet. No, you might
hop on and stir the pot every now and again.
Stir the pot just a little bit, yeah, don't you know? And that's why we love you. Blair, you got anything going on? You hopping on with anyone else the rest of this week?
Tomorrow, I'm going to be on with Jacob, Shieldwall, and Roman. We're going to be talking about the Wrath of Khan.
Oh, Khan!
Nice.
It's going to be great.
Wait, so Roman, can take time and spend it with you guys, just not us? We're not cool enough?
Well, if he makes it, he might be on that one too. So.
Yeah, I know. He just hates me. It's okay. Yeah. I'm his alternate universe Bizarro son.
Abandoned son.
When we go to meetups, people often think that he is my dad, even though we're only like 15 years apart. But I guess he either looks really old or I look really young, or a combination of the two. But
he looks really old,
and he's not here to defend himself, so we can say all of that.
I'm actually a little bit older than him, barely, but
yeah,
I don't.
But, no, not at all. Not one bit. But I also think that Roman likes to give himself high blood pressure.
Yeah.
We communicate a lot throughout the week. Like he and I, we live within.
Dang it, he's here.
And he's here.
Just as we're closing the show.
And he's here. But no, we live in very close proximity to each other. So we check in with each other a lot just to make sure the other one's still alive and hasn't killed their family or themselves. And more often than not, I remind Roman that he is a crazy person and that he just looks for reasons to give himself high blood pressure. But we love him nonetheless. We'll say all the same things even though he's here now. But yeah.
We love you, Roman. You're good, buddy.
But yep, that's all I got going on. Just tomorrow.
Awesome. Thank you guys so much for hanging out. Both Devon and Blair, and then everybody in the chat. Lady Marine, Steven, Kyle. Let's see. Scroll. Jay the Deep Minded, Melvin Deeply, Wayfarer Project, Pink Pam 86, Lady Marine. I think I maybe already mentioned you, but maybe not. Can't forget you.
Not important.
Jacob Ironside, who I know already had to take off, but again, thank you all so much for with the we just talked about this. They raised the prices. Man. But the good news is we can finally stream in 1080, so it's slightly higher quality because we are only streaming at 720 unless you wanted to pay the higher price. But the thing that pisses me off though, they're charging us more for StreamYard. Okay, I can stream in high def, but I can't add more what they call partners to the stream. So I've added Roman on when he's on here as someone who can also control the chat, like pull up chats at the bottom of the screen, share his screen without me having to approve it, whatever. They did not up the number of team members you can add. So Roman is still the only person that I have who can basically run this as if like if I'm not here, he can run it. It's like I feel like I should be able to have more people that can pull up the chat and pull up the screen and everything. But they're charging us more money for
they're bleeding you dry, as Steven said.
Bleeding us dry. Yeah. Apparently, Lady Marina has something to say, but she's keeping her mouth shut.
I think what I said, she wasn't important, probably.
Streaming bleeds you dry. Night, all the rest of you hosers. So yeah, I think we're gonna go ahead and call it a night at this point. But again, thank you everybody in the chat for hanging out and joining us. Thank you, Blair. Thank you, Devon. Thank you, Roman, for joining in right at the end, right when we were talking shit about you. That was
perfect timing.
All love, though. I wouldn't say anything on the stream that I wouldn't say if Roman was on the stream. So always much
I can always come back and watch it anyway.
You are always trying to give yourself high blood pressure, and I will always remind you of that. Anyways, once again, thank you guys all so much for joining in on the Late to the Party news. I am John, the Creative Blue Collar Guy, with Salmon 6 and Blair to Blair. I will be back on Wednesday with my solo stream After Work Beers. Until then, I will not see you guys next Monday because I'm going to have family in town next Monday. So 2 weeks from now, Late to the Party news will be back. You guys all have a good rest of your Monday night and enjoy the rest of your week. I'll see you next time. Cheers.
Bye. Night, everybody.
Be excellent to each other.
This has been Late to the Party News. Make sure to like and share this video for others to see. Subscribe to the channel and set notifications to all so you get notified every time we go live or post a new video. Thanks and good night.